Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Well, I'm getting this out a little bit late in the day, but I'm sure everyone has heard by now that the report came out today that the U.S. GDP declined by 32.9%. We might as well just round it and say 33%. So our GDP dropped for the second quarter by 1/3. So this is after the U.S. GDP had declined in the first quarter when we were just starting to get hit by recent events. It declined by 4.8%. So we're not looking good for the year here. On top of this, the unemployment report came out, and for the past week, 1.429 million people filed initial unemployment claims. What's funny is that, they're trying to put some positive spin on this by saying that, at least the GDP didn't drop the 35% that was expected, and the unemployment didn't reach the 1.45 million that was expected. So yay us. Now the unemployment issue, this is on top of existing unemployment claims and one of the lowest, workforce, labor participation rate, LPR, in decades, at least since the 1960s. We've got the lowest labor participation rate. So many people have just given up working. And none of this, with the unemployment, even mentions how many people are underemployed. I've brought up the fact before that you can get a job and be considered employed if you're getting paid minimum wage and working 1 or 2 hours a week. In some cases, they can spin these numbers so that you're considered employed even though you're not working or getting paid at all. It's just that your employer declares that you're still employed with them. That doesn't mean that you're making a living. Before any of this came along, half of Americans could not afford a $400 emergency. Last year we saw 9,000 retail outlet closures, and that's just the corporate ones. We saw layoffs by the tens of thousands. We saw trucking companies by the dozen shutting down because nothing was getting shipped. Well, now we're in the position where virtually nothing is moving. By comparison, yes, there are things moving, but by comparison to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever, when even then the economy was not doing well. All the talk last year of how well the economy was doing, if the economy was doing so well, why were tens of thousands of people being laid off, and why were we seeing so many retail outlet closures? A lot of people want to blame online purchasing, but that only accounted last year for, what, 5% of retail sales? So that wasn't a good enough reason for 9,000 retail closures. That 5% did not account for that. And now we are, as of tomorrow, July 31st, the eviction moratorium for renters comes to an end. For many people that have a moratorium on their mortgages, it comes to an end. The additional $600 a week for people that are unemployed comes to an end. For many, that has already come to an end. And so what is going to happen? Well, Congress has not passed any bill. Essential workers are absolutely not going to get hazard pay. So we're not moving forward. This is a crash. You can't deny it. This is an impending collapse of the U.S. economy. Without the additional supplements, with severe decreases in household income, no jobs available, thousands of more retail outlets are expected to close. Coresight Research now expects at least 25,000 corporate retail closures this year. 25,000. And most of those are in malls. Well, if you take away the anchor stores, you take away the traffic that goes to small businesses in those malls. So you might see one anchor store close, but you'll see 20 small businesses close. The number of jobs from all of them combined is going to be millions upon millions of job losses. We haven't seen anything yet. They say that we're at 17 to 20% unemployment right now. We haven't seen anything yet, because this is going to get worse. No matter how they spin their employment numbers, the reality is going to be very obvious on the street. And when we see more and more closures happening, if this is what they're expecting, I'm expecting maybe a lot more, maybe up to 40,000 closures of corporate retail outlets and hundreds of thousands of small businesses. The Republicans don't want to continue the $600. They said that they'll send out another round of $1,200 checks and, give, payroll deductions or whatever. But the Democrats are not fighting hard for anything. They make, proposals which are just lip service, just like they did with DACA. So, and we know how they collapsed on that. They said that they would not fund Trump's border wall. They funded his border wall. They say that They're against the use of Border Patrol and DHS forces being used against people in Portland, and then they increase the funding for the DHS and the Border Patrol. Including in the Republican bill, the stimulus package, whatever you want to call it, is more money for the military. Yeah, because what? $770 billion isn't enough. And the Democrats are not objecting to this. They're not objecting to the U.S. warships in the South China Sea. They're not objecting to U.S. warships off the coast of Venezuela. They're not objecting to the buildup of force around Russia. We can pay for all of that. But if it comes down to supporting the American people, they'll just cave. I'm not expecting anything. Tonight is Thursday night. From what I understand, Congress already called it a week. They're gone home without passing anything. They didn't pass anything. So people are just left hanging. Don't know what next week or next month is going to bring for them. This is what the alleged two-party system brings us. Because the two parties are actually just one. They're all corporate puppets. They don't care about you and I. If you get thrown out on the street, they'll give you hopes, prayers, lip service, tweets about how bad Trump is. But this has been going on for years. This did not start overnight. We've been coming to this. And meanwhile, the stock market goes all up and down. They're still going to bail out the corporations. They're not objecting to the Fed printing money to buy junk bonds. Yeah, I've said it before. I always advocate for and hope for peaceful solutions, but I think we've run that course. I'm not in favor of violence, but if enough people are desperate enough, homeless, hungry, starving, we can expect an increase in violence. And they can put all the, government troops out on the street that they want to, but the American people still outnumber them. And when are these thugs, these government thugs, going to realize that their families, their loved ones, are part of us, not them? Just because they're wearing some uniform and carrying a baton and beating people doesn't mean that their family is not suffering. Their mothers, their brothers, their sisters, their children. When are they going to wake up to this? I really don't know what to say to all of this. I've said before that I hoped I was wrong on a number of things, but I haven't been wrong. This is causing a situation that is going to take us years to recover from, if we ever do recover from it. So, we have to make the best of it that we can. Support one another, protect one another. That's the only option that we've got. But it's time for a change. And if we don't make the change, then no change is going to occur. So, and our government has absolutely shown they have no interest in making a change that's in our favor. Let's wait and see what happens over the next few days. And that's it for this one. Please share this video. Please talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. And I will see you in the next one.